The evidence of inhabitants in Eindhoven can be dated back to the time when humans worked as hunters and gatherers thousands of years ago. Over time, more and more people settled in the area. Today, we are going to find out more about the history of Eindhoven from thousands of years ago to the 1800s. Good morning everyone, welcome to our VAT channel. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel and click like if you enjoy our videos. Today is a sunny day for exploring around and I'm on the way to the Prehistoric village. The Prehistoric village is around 3.5 kilometers away from my hotel in the south of Eindhoven. It takes around 10 minutes by bike. Let's check it out. The Prehistoric Village is an open-air museum with a number of activities visitors can try to experience as a person in historical time frames, from hunters and gatherers in early times to medieval times. Let's see what these activities are. There is an activity which you can hit the musical instrument and different sound will be made. This musical instrument is quite similar to the one in ancient China, which can be dated back to around 2000 BC. You can see the one in ancient China looks more elaborated, made of bronze. Maybe they got the idea from the ancestor who made similar instruments out of stone. This is the section of the Roman times. During that time, the Roman soldiers were too busy at wars, so they rely on the local residents in nowadays Eindhoven to provide food for them. Let's walk into the houses and see how it looks like. Well, this looks like a Roman military barrack to me. You can see this side probably is where the commander slept because it looks more luxurious with god statue and pottery decorations. On the other side, it looks like soldier barrack to me. Here is a boat where you can try to canoe like a person during Roman times. Some students who came for field trip tried it. They also have a floating bridge where you can pull yourself to cross the bridge. This is a game which people in the medieval time would play. You and the other player had to throw pebbles at the shield hanging on the cross. The one who hit the shield most would win. I tried the game. It is not easy as it requires some sort of coordination between your eyes and hands. Here is a labyrinth to show the life of different castes in the medieval times. Here is the artisan. There it goes the smith. They also have farmers, clergy, knights, nuns, and merchants. Now I am high up where you can see the whole labyrinth clearly, and I am now at the place for Nobleman. Here is the alphabet in the medieval times. You can try to write those alphabets with a quill. Let's see how mine is doing. Okay, first get some ink. The feeling was like writing Chinese calligraphy where people in ancient China wrote with a quill. Okay, I make another attempt for the second line. Oops, I dipped too much ink in my quill and it stained the paper. Well, it is interesting, yet it is a test of patience. What do you think about my medieval writing? You can leave a comment down below. Here is another medieval time game. The person has to put the stick inside the metal circle and keep rolling the metal circle without falling. Actually, I tried a few times and it is rather difficult. Maybe it is a good way to spend time as people at that time did not have cell phones to have that much entertainment. At the back they have stilts for you to try. You are supposed to walk with the stilts. Good balancing is required. and I'm not going to risk myself for spraining my ankle. The games all the way like the throwing stone, rolling metal circle, and this one looked rather difficult for me. Here is the Nobleman's vegetable garden, which the workers normally grew Jerusalem artichokes and runner beans. Actually, what they grew at that time already have been forgotten. The vegetables we have nowadays normally were introduced from Central and South America during colonization. Then I met a group of students again. This time they were simulating bread making in medieval times. They need to mix a certain ratio of water and flour. Then they knead it into a dough. Afterwards, they will put into such an oven to bake it. And here is the bread after baking, and according to the staff, this is part of the students' lunch. What do you think about the prehistoric village? You can leave a comment below. When it comes to medieval times like what we saw in the prehistoric village, we should not miss St. Catherine Church, which was built from 1861 to 1867, being inspired by the Gothic architecture in Middle Ages. This church is designed by a famous Dutch architect, Pierre Cuypers, who also designed other Dutch landmarks such as Rijksmuseum and Amsterdam Central Station. Before going in, here is a story related to the church. The church was dedicated to Saint Catherine of Alexandria. Catherine was the daughter of a governor of Alexandria during the Roman times from AD 286 to 305. A vision of the Virgin Mary and the child Jesus persuaded her to become a devoted Christian. However, the Roman emperor carried out persecution against Christians, so Catherine went to the emperor and rebuked him for his cruelty. Then the emperor summoned 50 of the best pagan philosophers and orators to dispute with her, hoping that they would refute her pro-Christian arguments, but Catherine won the debate. Then the emperor was furious and decided to torture Catherine, but she remained steadfast with her faith. Eventually, Catherine was put to death on a spike-breaking wheel. But when she touched the wheel shattered. So the Roman emperor ordered her to be beheaded, and a milk-like substance rather than blood flowed from her neck during the execution. Because of Catherine's unwavering faith, she was recognized as a saint by the Roman Catholic Church in the 10th century. Though some of the details in the story sounded more like a legend, but the beauty of the church is certain. Let's go in and see how it looks like. So, typical stained glass windows in the church. Here is the organ. The organ boasts like 5,725 pipes and is the second largest in the Netherlands. Can you imagine that? Here is the pictures showing the life of Jesus, from performing miracles curing the sick to being crucified. Here shows Jesus carrying his cross to Calvary. Typical church interior as the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ is a main theme in the Christianity ideas. Here is the statue of Mother of Perpetual Help, or what we know as Virgin Mary, holding Jesus in her arms, with flowers and candles lit to worship her. They even have a prayer in Dutch in front of the statue as a guidance how to pray to Virgin Mary. When we refer to the Bible, the second commandment, Exodus chapter 20, verse 4, it says, "You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below." So can someone tell me how the idea of worshipping Virgin Mary is explained in the Catholic world? You can leave the comments below. Here is a christening font. That is a vessel to hold water for baptism. It used to have 4 heads as decoration on the font. But in 1566, people were awakened to convert to Protestants, so they smashed everything related to the Catholic Church. That's why it is broken. Here are some items reflecting the interesting Christianity belief back between 1500s and 1800s. The items are grave gifts, which were found together with the deceased in the graves near the church. The one on the upper left corner is a rosary bead, which is used by Catholics in prayer and meditation. The one on the lower right corner are coins and tokens. At that time, people believed that you needed to pay to go to heaven. Well, of course, now most churches emphasize on grace, and it would sound like a scam if you told someone that you need to pay to go to heaven. But the idea of grave gift is very similar to that in ancient Far East or in ancient Egypt, where there was a life after death, so the deceased needs all sorts of essentials. Do your culture have any interesting customs with the deceased that you want to share? Leave us a comment below. I think let's make it an end for this episode. In the next episode, we will show you the modern side of Eindhoven, what important role Philips play in Eindhoven, and the ideas of contemporary artists.